Good morning. I'd like to call the Finance Committee meeting to order. Roll call. You should be on.
Mr. Eckhoff,
Present.
Mr. Fairfield, Mr. Hess, Ms. Polk,
Present.
Ms. Weber, Ms. Parker, Mr. Seroy, Mr. Swanson, Mr. Featherling, Mr. Dennell, Mr. Miller, Mr. Long, Mr. Hunter, Ms. Foster, Ms. Armour Earps, Mr. Wheeler.
He's present. He just walked out.
Okay, Mr. Alexander Hildebrand. We have a quorum.
We have a quorum. I have no slips of public comment up here. Are there any public comment in the back? Seeing none. The approval of minutes from December 22nd, 2023. Motion by Mr. Donnell, second by Ms. Parker. Any corrections or additions? Seeing none. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have no presentations. Next up is Mr. McCarty with the Finance Department.
Okay.
Yes, he is.
He's back. He's back. I just talked to him. Okay, talk to you.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
We'll start out with the miscellaneous financial reports. You'll see some fiscal totals on some of these. We've got one more month for sales tax before it becomes a fiscal total. So
Mike's on, yeah.
is it not picking up?
John, you signed this stuff yet?
Okay. I don't know if there are any questions before we move on. A lot of this flowed, the way we expected it to. So I don't know if I have anything else specifically to say about it at this point.
Is the PPRT pretty much going to be the normal trend now?
Yeah, it's reverting back to what was normal. From what I understand, that they caught up from COVID years, and so we'll see it kind of hopefully re-average back out. So we'll see. As you can see, the trend, it kind of definitely fluctuated around the COVID time. So that's what they're saying. So
Any other questions from the committee? Next up, cash flow update.
you have 2 years in the packet for those that maybe like my brain and wanting to see trend, show you a trend. And I know we just opened up fiscal year 24. All the trend continues to be positive and moving forward. So continue to update it, but all good news. Everything's moving in the right direction there.
Any comments from the committee?
Questions or not?
None. Next up is claims recommended for approval or not approval.
So yeah, there's 2 of them. Both are state's attorney related. One's a credit card. It says see previous note, which I'm not sure what that means. And the other was for the image group. And I could not make out what the note said, so that's why it's here.
Mr. Hunter.
Steve, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. What's your recommendation?
Well, they're there for you guys to make a decision on. I'm here to process it, to keep it going so these people get paid. Well, one of them we're paying ourselves for the credit card coming from a special fund, and then the image group. So it's coming from the state's attorney's office.
Mr. Donnell.
We combine and approve.
Motion to combine and approve, second by Mr. Hunter. I did have a conversation with the State's Attorney Rowe. There was no communication between the State's Attorney's office and the Auditor's office regarding these claims. So we're in just as much of the dark as he's in the dark. So just so the committee knows, Mr. Featherling.
Read what that says there under his notes.
Nobody can read it.
Nobody can read it.
Well, the first couple words I got, but I was just wondering if anybody got the rest of it.
You can't.
Mr. Donnell.
It essentially says they don't endorse spending money on pictures, but we will do what we feel like doing in this committee.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, you went over both claims. Roll call.
Mr. Eckhoff,
Aye.
Mr. Fairfield, Ms. Polk,
Aye.
Ms. Weber, Ms. Parker, Mr. Featherling, Mr. Dennell, Mr. Miller, Mr. Hunter,
Aye.
Ms. Foster? Mr. Wheeler? Motion carries.
Motion carries. Anything else, Steve?
Monthly claims.
Oh, monthly claims, sorry. You can see in your packet the monthly claims are in there. Any comments or questions on the monthly claims? Can I have a motion to approve? Motion by Mr. Hunter, second by Mr. Fairfield. Comments, discussions? Roll call.
Mr. Eckhoff?
Aye.
Mr. Fairfield? Ms. Polk?
Aye.
Ms. Weber? Ms. Parker? Mr. Featherling? Mr. Dennell? Mr. Miller? Mr. Hunter?
Aye.
Ms. Foster? Mr. Wheeler? Motion carries.
Motion carries.
No, just FYI, we'll have the fiscal year update for the general fund, tort, pension, ARPA funds, other activity next month. We're actively working to close everything out to get it turned over to the outside auditors, and everything general fund wise is looking good, actually better than projected. The expenses are really close to projection, and revenues coming in better than the conservative estimate. So it should be all good news. But I'll give you the exact update next month. And then we are implementing a new credit card for the county. And for those maybe listening that haven't picked theirs up yet, we appreciate if you come and get them. And we'll be sending out an email shortly trying to get everybody on the same page and convert it over to the new credit card. Other than that, a lot of work going on internally, even though there's not much here right now, but we'll be sharing that next month. So I don't know if there's any questions or not for us.
Steve, Mr. Hunter.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Steve, I probably missed what I should have brought this up earlier. You know, with cashless bail now, how has that impacted our cash flow?
Well, we're watching the trend, coming out of the circuit clerk, their monthly deposits. It's kind of hard to tell right now, exactly the total impact, but in total, we're not seeing it, affect us specifically.
Well, if you don't have the cash, for bails and stuff, it does impact it. I mean, would you see some impact?
Yeah.
But anyway,
I will take a look, but
yeah,
it's very early, and usually try to get more trend, and to be able to compare to, to be able to watch it. So haven't.
Yeah, maybe next month,
hasn't hit the radar
following
screen
month, let us see
Sure.
what the impact is. Thank you.
Anybody else? That was a record for you, Steve. Mr. Wheeler.
We had since the court view had a limitation basically on calling the types of cases that would be subject to this type of the Safety Act and cashless bail and all of those things. It's very difficult to. We tried this a year ago. The best number we could come up with was around $300,000 to $400,000 as a conservative estimate of what that would cost in terms of cash out of the system that was used to run the courthouse, if that makes sense. But again, it's going to take a while for that to manifest. I would almost say wait a year to ask the question, because you really won't know seasonality. I mean, I don't know if there's a time of the year certain bail eligible crimes happen more than others. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would just caution to kind of give it a year to see where it's at. A quarter won't give you a picture.
Mr. Hunter.
Yeah, I understand, Chairman. But I was just looking for that trend, taking into consideration the variables you just mentioned in terms of the seasons and stuff. Certain crimes happens, I assume, with a nexus in terms of when they happen. But yeah, I'm fine with that.
Thank you both. Anybody else? Thank you, Steve. Next up is the Treasurer's Office. Treasurer Nick Africano. Can I have a motion to combine and approve his reports? Motion by Mr. Hunter, second by Mr. Miller. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Oh, a little switcheroo here. You want to say that on a hot mic?
Something about height. Hi, everybody. Good morning. So, a few things I want to talk about today, actually. You have an investment policy, I believe, in your packet today. That's just an update. Periodically, we do an update on it, and I wanted to get that out to you. It's a standard thing that the treasurer has, and we update it from time to time. So you have that. That should answer any questions about what we can and can't invest in. In terms of investments, we actually have some CDs that we've been investing in, and we've been moving them around the county. And, you know, Illinois funds, I don't know if anybody, I assume most people in here may know about Illinois funds. Illinois funds is essentially an aggregation of all kind of municipalities' money, state money, and so it's billions of dollars. And so it pays the highest rate. But it's in Wisconsin, if you can believe that. Classic Illinois. So it's invested up at US Bank in Milwaukee. So what I've endeavored to do with local banks is explain to them that as a fiduciary, it's important for us, if they're paying 5.5%, I can't invest with you at 3%, right? But some banks, well, actually many banks have been receptive to that idea. And as a matter of fact, Midland created a product just for the county that floats at 50 basis points with Illinois funds. So it's a product just for us, which keeps our money local, which I personally think if we can get where we need to be financially, we want to keep the money locally. Mm-hmm. And so we're just about to send some money to Municipal Bank at 4.84 for 7 months. So
that's pretty good.
We've been investing. I think, and I should have had this number, and I'll bring it next month. We're around $750,000 last year in investment income, which is something we've never seen. We've never seen that. Now, ARPA money, the return on an investment on the ARPA money is ours. That money we keep. The county keeps. Investment income on tax income gets distributed to all the taxing bodies. So they get their proportion. But like small towns, we become the Illinois funds. We get higher rates because we're investing larger amounts. I think Steve mentioned credit cards, and I want to talk about that real quick. I want to say thank you to Midland Bank. Came back to us. As many people know, when things were difficult around here, credit card limit was around $25,000 a month, which to run a county is non-existent. I mean, you can't. Well, you can, but you got to pay it off 3 times a month, and it created. There were lots of times where people were running around here because someone was on a trip, at a conference, couldn't get the credit card to work, blah 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 blah. So Midland, we approached them, and they came to us with Andy, and Anita was involved, and Steve, and we're very aggressive to get our business, and got our business, and I believe our credit limit is $175,000 a month now. And in that light, I started a banking review at the end of the year, began a complete banking review. For instance, I had no idea of this when I started. The Highway Fund has been with First American Bank since 1967. Now, it's great to have relationships, but sometimes those relationships are just because they're convenient. Right? It takes work to change bank accounts. And so what we wanted to do in the office is to find out, is our banking partner the best choice for us? And you can't do that unless you ask. And you get out there and see what you can do. Now, the downside to that is no one in town can handle our amount of business beside First American and Midland. The reason being is we have such large swings of money. I mean, during tax time, we'll deposit $90 million and in 30 days it's gone. And that's very difficult for a bank because of the collateral regulations to accept all that kind of money. So on the smaller things, that's where we involve our town banks. But Midland could. And so Midland came to us with a proposal. First American came back with a proposal, and right now we're mulling over both proposals. And of course, we don't want to upset. There's a lot of moving parts. But we wanted our banking partners to be more forward thinking, to say, yes, I can go in the bank every morning and move money during tax time, but why should I have to do that? Why don't we have sweep accounts where every day at midnight it sweeps to a high, why are we putting $100 million into a passbook savings account during tax time? Yes, there's a money market, but that requires us to go every morning. Why would we do that? Why won't we sweep down to 100,000 every day, or what have you? And we don't control CanCom's money or some other monies, but it's available to them too, and we should be offering it to them because they have money that could be being used, right, in getting higher interest. There's no sense not to. So we just felt like maybe the bank was a little bit maybe, had got complacent. And so this was a way just to say, hey, we need you to be more aggressive for our business. We think it's important. Again, PNC probably could bid on the business, but you know how I feel about that. I've made that patently clear. So that's what we're doing, and it appears that we'll move some accounts to Midland, and we'll keep some accounts at First American for now. And then we'll go about and look at it at the end of the year. Did you have a question?
Mr. Hunter.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Treasurer Africano,
Yes, sir.
that was a mouthful in terms of information. Had you thought about getting with your staff or Roe in terms of doing a press release on that? I mean, that's our money's working.
Chris, do I have to do a press release? I'm teasing.
He said it always helps.
Yeah,
Seriously
I
though,
know.
that was that's good stuff, man.
Well, it was funny. When I saw 1967, I was like, holy Moses. I mean, maybe it is the best place for the money since 1967. But there's a sense that everything is working sort of self-propelled. And so why change it? It's easy. We don't have to go get new checks. We don't have to do this. We don't have to do that. Well, okay, but, banks have changed a lot since 1967. So what can we do? And there are banks competing for our business, which is what we want. They should compete for it. And even the smaller banks, and I don't want to minimize anybody because none of them are small. But, we've put money at Iroquois Federal. We've had money at National Bank of St. Anne. We've had money at Municipal, People's.
You spread it around.
Yes, as it should be. It's the county's money. The taxpayers' money should go all around the county, help all the businesses. So we're not done with the review, but I'm happy the way it started, the way it's turned out so far. I talked about credit cards choices. We continue to do that. Amanda's not here, I see. We are going to meet with Speckman Realty here shortly, and then the other realtors to get out the tax payment plans. I talked to Steve this morning about churches. It's also in Spanish. We already have it translated and printed, so we'll be taking that out to the Hispanic community as well. And the last thing I want to talk about, and I take no joy in what I'm going to talk about, but by the same token, I'm very protective of my office and of my staff and of the reputation that we have worked hard to build. And so I received a FOIA yesterday, and it asked for the amount of times that our auditor, who has access to our bank, has looked at our general fund, our general bank accounts, where we run, Steve would know the answer to this, but over 100 million a year goes through these accounts. Well over 100. Actually, well over 200. because all the tax revenue comes in. So these are all the inflows and outflows, essentially, of the county in this bank. And so I was asked for that report, and I pulled it. And as you probably all know, Facebook is not the harbinger of the truth, always. So in an effort to be absolutely transparent, a word my colleague likes to use, I wanted to run that report for you here today, live, so that you don't get sheets from me, nothing's manipulated. You get to see exactly what we see. So if you'll indulge me for a couple minutes, I'd like to walk you through that right now. We good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bear with me, I'm not used to this.
Kelly's computer.
This computer. Did you say a computer?
No, Kelly's computer.
Yep. I checked. Yeah. Yep, you got
You're
that,
absolutely
you
right,
got
Mr.
that.
Miller.
Sorry that this is taking a second. Okay, so here we are. This is First and Bank. These, you'll see the ending. What's that? Oh, you'll see the ending bank account, the ending numbers to these accounts, but no one can see the total account number. But this just give you an idea. There's 23 million. So you see, that's the special fund. These are all our accounts on this bank. Okay. And to do this, I wasn't here to show you all the dollar amounts. What I want to show you is this report. So if I go in here and I go to user management, you see Shakira Banks and those names, those are all my staff and our auditor, who asked for this access, by the way, when he was elected. I go down here and I run a report. And this is the report I was asked to run by FOIA. I will show you. From January 1st of 21. I apologize again for this taking a second. Promise this will be the last. Until today. Apply that. If I come down here, you will see that I'm looking at 100. I can't.
376.
I'm looking at one of 25 of 9,392 entries, roughly 376 pages. Okay. Is everybody following? So these are all the logins for those people that I just showed you from 2021, January 1 till today. There's 9,372 entries, or people that have logged in, logins, okay? Now, this is very simple. I'm gonna try to talk a little louder because I know I'm a little bit farther from the microphone. If I go in here and I take out my staff and myself, it leaves us with the auditor, right? And you see what that says there? That says no information to display. I don't know how more clear that can be to anybody. And I wanted to do it live so that everybody could see it. There has been 0 logins into the county's main bank account by our county auditor. Are there questions?
Well,
Miss-
how is he able to do his job if he doesn't know what's going on?
Well, Dr. Polk, that's a great question for which I don't have an answer for.
Oh, okay. I just asked.
No, it's a wonderful question. I believe that's a question many people have.
Mr. Alexander.
So essentially what you're telling me is the auditor or his chief deputy has not logged in and seen the general fund in over 3 years? And is this the same person that's supposed to know the ins and outs of the county?
I'm not going to say anything other than this. I ran the report for you. He has not logged into the bank accounts, the main bank accounts, the general fund of Kankakee County that sees inflows and outflows of over $200 million since January 1 of 2021. You saw it with your own eyes.
I think as a citizen, a resident, a county board member, that's just very alarming to me and hard to wrap my head around. And that's all I'll say.
Mm.
Number 10, Mr. Featherling.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Microphone, please.
So, Mr. Africano, what would you say if you were the auditor? How many times would you be hitting that account every month to check it out? Every single day, a couple times a day, or how would you do it? I mean, if I was the auditor, I'd probably hit it as often as I could.
That's not for me to answer.
Okay,
But
if
I
you were,
appreciate the question.
okay, but I didn't know if you knew like this.
I know we've looked at it 9,372 times.
Okay, and they've looked at it.
Yeah.
None.
Several times a day, every day.
Okay, that's what I wanted.
That's
to check
my
on.
job.
Okay.
Mr. Hunter.
Yeah, now that other people have thrown the first brick.
Well, I hope it's Steve. Can I interrupt real quick? I hope it's not seen as throwing a brick.
Well, but
I
mean,
just want the public to know the truth.
9,000 entries from your staff to 0. That's fair statement, right?
You saw it.
No, yeah. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely.
Okay, let me pose this question to you. Now, with respect that you indicated those 9,000 entries are with your staff, might there be another system in which he could have logged in or not?
I believe that he probably could see some of the dollar amounts in other systems, but he could not see the inflows and outflows as concisely as he could there, and get the total picture of what's going on from a banking perspective. See, you know,
So how would he reconcile? Well, anyway, I mean, that's if you're not going in the system, you can't reconcile anything. So that's a major faux pas. Fair statement.
I'll let other people decide that.
9,000 something to 0.
That's what the numbers are.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. I know this was a longer report than normal. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Mm.
Next up, auditor's office. Nobody's here. Other business? None. Older new business. On the agenda, we have parcels of purchasing of parcels. Mr. Chairman Wheeler. What's that?
Is there a start with a motion?
Can I have a motion to purchase parcels that are in the packet 0610 28 200 09 and 610 28 200 03? Motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Hunter, second by Mr. Fairfield. Discussion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to make sure we got that on,
Yep.
on the record. So this was something the board had authorized me to go out and make the offer to the owner, and the offer was accepted by the owner. And so we have, you know, State's Attorney's Office is here. There's some paperwork that we're waiting on, but basically, I don't know if we should put the map. Huh? All right, at the advisor council, we'll come out and talk about this. at length, and with images and all of that, but he would recommend we go into executive session to discuss
Right
real
now?
estate right now.
Motions, would you go ahead and withdraw your motions from the floor? Yes and yes. Can I have a motion to enter executive session? Motion by Mr. Hunter, second by Ms. Weber. Can I have a motion?
Please.
We're good? Can roll call to go ahead and go in, then roll call to go out.
You stick around?
Roll call, correct. Roll call for that, please.
Mr. Eckhoff?
Aye.
Mr. Fairfield? Ms. Polk?
Aye.
Ms. Weber?
should take
Ms.
one,
Parker?
Chris.
Mr. Featherling? Mr. Dennell? Mr. Miller? Mr. Hunter? Ms. Foster? Mr. Wheeler?
Aye.
Aye, sorry.
Motion
I
carries.
apologize.
Can somebody check the mic? Next up is the purchase of parcel identification numbers 0610 28 209 and 610 28 203. Can I have a motion on the motion to approve on the floor? Motion by Mr. Fairfield, second by Ms. Foster. Discussion. Ms. Weber.
Thank you. I just, would you restate what the purpose of buying the property is?
Chairman Wheeler.
Thank you. This particular piece of property came to our attention. The owner's estate was looking to sell the property. It is the old Eagle Island, well, it is Eagle Island, and the property that was the parking lot for Eagle Island Restaurant across the street. So the process was, obviously, the board authorized me to make an offer on the property based on the fact that it was an asset for our future use and attack on the river in terms of sediment load and other potential uses down the road. The cost was minimal compared to the benefit that we saw, and that's subjective, obviously. People could feel differently, but the thought is we have an asset that allows us to get in the river and be able to address sediment access and all these other things that are part of the things that we're doing in the next 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road. The people from the area know Eagle Island, and it may make them smile thinking about the restaurant or a tear when it burned down. But there are improvements that would need to be made there. It is above the floodplain, or excuse me, it is below the floodplain, so you can't build on it. You have to build up above it. So every engineer that I talk to, whether it's Burke Engineering or it's local engineers that have hydrology expertise, say this is a strategic asset that the county should consider acquiring. Because it allows you into the river to get things done on one side of a bridge you don't have access to. So the overall thought process is we would acquire it, and the board authorized, the seller had put out $65,000 for this island and the property across the street there as you see it. The board authorized a $1,500 credit for an appraisal, and that was accepted. So $65,000 and a $1,500 credit for that property, and we have something for the future as we are able to. And a good example would be start the engineering process to see if our sand sediment collection system can have a bigger impact being installed in this area as opposed to at the state line. Because the boatable part of the river is just down, obviously, towards Aroma Park, and that's where you start to see people that can't enjoy the best asset that we have. So this is just one small, inexpensive piece to a larger puzzle for us to start the process of addressing our river in the generations that are really going to get to see the big fix after we're done with laying the foundation. So you see the maps in there. There's work that would be done in the river. It's just like anything else. It's Army Corps. It's the whole deal. If we are going to have a public use aspect to this, you would have to build the fishing piers up off of the floodplain. One of the thoughts would be until we get from A to B, we could, this could be a public access point if we can find a park district partner, if you will. But the key is having the asset and not having it just sit there. That is something that is beneficial for all county residents. So from it's the start, not the end of something, if you will.
Mr. Hunter.
Spoken like a Philadelphia lawyer. I like the phrase strategic asset, and I think that speaks volumes to the potential use in terms of the river project and the millions of dollars that we've been able to obtain through Senator Joyce in collaboration with Chairman Wheeler. I'm going to be voting aye for this particular initiative.
Thank you, sir. Any?
Clarify.
Yes.
Yeah, this is general fund money, not not any other source of revenue. This is out of the roughly $3 million surplus that we're looking at running this year. And that's almost completely and totally because of the inmate bed rental program that we have out there that allows these surpluses that are allowing us to acquire this asset, rebate property taxes back to the taxpayers, abate those types of things. That's what allows you to do. When you have a surplus, you give it back in terms of either acquiring an asset for the people or abating. Thought I would mention that as well.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? If not, roll call.
Mr. Fairfield? Ms. Polk?
Aye.
Ms. Weber? Ms. Parker? Mr. Featherling? Mr. Dennell? Mr. Miller? Mr. Hunter? Ms. Foster? Mr. Wheeler? Mr. Eckhoff?
Nay.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Any other new or old business? Can I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Mr. Dunnell, second by Mr. Fairfield. All in favor say aye. Opposed?